Hello, my chunsters, on this fine WrestleMania Sunday. That's right, it is WrestleMania. This is Wrestlecast episode 11, though, the WrestleMania edition, and I am Glenn Chun, obviously. But you already knew that because you've watched the show a lot of times in the past. Well, I hope you have. That intro just completely went to hell. I normally have like a pretty good flow for that, but that just went balls up. Anyway, today I am joined by the man who puts the professional in professional wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you my guest this evening, the professional Josh Knott.
How you doing? You right?
I am now, yeah. Now that I sort of got things back on track after losing my trail of thought there.
Yeah, that was probably the worst intro to a podcast ever.
At least it's a record of sorts. At least I can claim that. I can say, I'm the worst in the world.
Unless Jason King gets his podcast, then you've probably got that record for a while.
Now, you see, if Jason King gets his podcast, that record I just set is going to tumble. But you know what Jason King will do? If he were to do a podcast, he would spend something like 5 hours on the intro saying what's going to happen in the show and go off tangents.
By the end of the intro, he'll probably lose all of his viewers. So,
well, this is true. That's the thing with Jason. He goes off on tangents a lot, which currently what we're doing right now. Actually, this is a simulated experience of what a Jason King podcast might be introduced like. But today we do have a great show because we have fan questions for the professional being sent in by all the viewers, regular viewers that is, and they are some very good questions today, except for a certain man who we will address later on. But aside from that, because this is the WrestleMania edition of the show, we couldn't ignore the major 4 hour long elephant in the room happening later tonight. That is WrestleMania. We're going to be doing WrestleMania predictions and also a quick rundown of Takeover Dallas. That's Nxt Takeover Dallas, because that show was also brilliant, and I suspect it's probably going to be better than this year's WrestleMania.
That remains to be seen, but to be honest, the card this year looks better than past years. I mean, I've said to myself that I wish I'd gone this year than last year because I was there last year.
Oh, wait, you're in the audience for WrestleMania 31?
Yes.
See, now, last year, they did it in this daylight, didn't they? Now, I heard a lot of people were finding that quite blinding because they couldn't, actually see what was going on because they, had to look up.
I actually said when Orton beat Seth Rollins, it wasn't because he beat him that I was celebrating. It's because the sun had just gone down and I could actually see the show then.
That was why did they do that? Oh yeah, they did that because they wanted it to be live in America, didn't they? They wanted it to be.
It was it was 4 p.m. when WrestleMania started last year.
Yeah, see now that's where they went wrong. Now I am going to try and find the stream because that was the other thing. Just before we do start doing fan questions, if my internet would kindly respond to me, that would be really helpful. Is just because you haven't submitted a question for Josh before the show started, it doesn't mean it's too late, because if you send an email to me at glenchum14@gmail.com, I can actually read your questions out live. Yes, that's provided they're sensible, because we got into a bit of trouble with UK Dominator where he accused me of being in love with somebody who I wasn't in love with.
Who was that?
He accused me of being in love with PJ Jones because I asked all of his questions.
I think he got confused with himself.
This is the thing. Okay, PJ, you're going to get me in a lot of trouble if you keep on asking the questions that you're asking, because you have asked one of your questions for Josh Knott today addressed watching another man in the shower whilst reciting the alphabet backwards. Do you really think, Mr. Winner, that we're going to be asking that live?
I just think he doesn't want people knowing his fantasies, so he tries putting it on other people.
That's probably it. That is probably it. But Mr. PJ Jones, I am going to invite you back onto the show at one point, and we're going to get a load of questions from a load of guys, and we're going to see if you get a dose of your own medicine. But the good news is there were some actual good questions submitted that weren't submitted by PJ Jones.
I'm surprised anybody sent questions in at all, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
You see, now I have a viewing on the show. That's a good thing. And George Bennett, a long-time viewer of the show, long-time fan of wrestling, big fan of the Southwest scene, and practically everybody in it. He has actually got some pretty good questions.
Okay.
The first one's a bit, but you know what I mean, because it addresses a chant and it asks, "What do you and Callum Kane of the C2 Agenda have against chips?" Because apparently this was some sort of weird chant from PWA.
Yeah, I couldn't really understand what they were actually saying in the ring, but apparently it was about chips. I thought I heard curry sauce, but that was obviously just me. I'm not against chips. I think George would be happy to know that. I think that answers the question. I don't really know.
So you have nothing against chips?
No.
Well, I mean, that's good, because I believe who would have anything against chips anyway?
Yeah.
But you'd have to be like uber fitness guy, like absolutely like no carbs at all to have anything against chips. This is a bit like when Jason King came on and we were like, should we actually promote Pancake Day? And he's like, no, got to promote Pancake Day. It's like, you can't hate on food. Wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Anyway, now this is a good question. This is actually good. Where did the moniker The Professional come from, and are you trying to imply something there?
I'm not trying to imply something. It's just the fact that I'm trying to project. It's partly my true feelings. Is that these days there's a lot of stuff that wrestling didn't used to be. Like if you watch the old 70s and 80s stuff, if you went back in time and showed somebody from the 70s and 80s what WWE looks like now, they probably want to kill themselves. And so I'm trying to. The fact that I'm not having a character as sorts is sort of a character, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I play a management simulator game when I get some spare time, which isn't very much now, and it has a no gimmick needed gimmick on it, and he says this character is so all-rounded, he doesn't need a gimmick, which in itself is a gimmick.
Exactly. I mean, they've got guys like the Revival on NXT. They're my favourite guys to watch on NXT, and they don't have characters, but they do, which is kind of confusing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, like, the professional is just literally, I am the professional because I'm that good. I don't need to be anything else.
Yeah, I let my wrestling be my character.
Ah, George, there you go, sir. That was a good question. I was going to ask about that myself, because I always think of
in the ring and you can dance for 5 minutes, and play jokes and comedy and stuff, but that's not going to get you wins. That's not going to get you submissions. So
nope, doesn't ever work for Enzo Amore in Big Cass, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was going to ask about that because I always come up with like backup questions in case we don't get enough fan questions to cover any decent time. So yeah, I was going to ask about that. Now, this last question is a bit of a joke one, but the purple trunks, are they retired or did Jason King inherit those off you?
No, they're not retired. They're not retired. I thought that, Jason likes wearing purple, and I don't think two people should wear the same color on shows. So I got a variety of colors now.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's like, yeah, I think it's because it's exactly the same sort of costume, isn't it? It's just the trunks. So if you wear purple trunks, in fact, you versus Jason both wearing purple trunks. Now that would be interesting.
Yeah.
No, actually, no. Oh, I just said that out loud, didn't I? No, it wouldn't. It's.
If you just drop yourself in it.
I did. I just said that. I just thought, that'd be a good little joke, a bit of humor. No, it just makes me look creepy.
Jason King, if you're watching, Glenn Chum wants to watch us wrestle in purple trunks together. So.
Yeah, he does. Which it's interesting that we mentioned Jason King actually, because Jason King was the next man who sent in a question, and it's a very good question actually, because I asked this very similar question myself, and it is, who was the best guy you've ever actually faced? Well, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I'll probably have to say. Well, it's joint, really. I can say 3. Can I say 3?
You can. It's not a cop-out.
First 2 being obviously the 2 guys that trained me, Joel Redman and UK Dominator.
Mm.
Whenever you're in the ring with Joel, you can have a good match. And me and Dom have faced each other probably close to 100 times. So we know each other inside out. So you're going to have a good match whenever you see us 2 together. And the third would probably be Doug Williams, the 20-minute time limit draw I had with him for Pro Wrestling Pride. That was probably one of my favourite matches I've had.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
Doug Williams is just one of those guys who's phenomenal.
Such a nice guy as well. Nice guy too.
Yeah, because I've never met him, but I've heard that about him actually. I've heard he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doug Williams, of course, for probably most famous for his run in TNA with Magnus as the British Invasion, I'd say probably.
Yeah.
It's probably his most famous work, but yeah, he's been doing a hell of a lot more than that, because isn't he? Hasn't been wrestling for close to something like 25 years, I think now.
Something like that, yeah. Also, he wrestled for the old FWA, which was in the early 2000s, and so probably, I'd say close to 20 years at least.
I mean, that shows quite a lot of faith from Pride, actually, to actually put you in the ring with a guy like Doug Williams.
Yeah, it was a really good opportunity, and we actually faced him in a triple threat match the month after that with the UK Dominator.
So that's 2 of your top 3 guys in one match.
Yeah.
I can actually envisage that match right now. I think how I could see that match going, and yeah, that's the type of match. If I were to see that one on the card, I'd be like, yeah, that's one you want to watch.
It's on YouTube if you want to watch it. It's on the YouTube channel.
I'm going to search that later on.
It
actually,
ended up with me being powerbombed through a table to the outside. So
that sounds like it's kind of painful.
Yeah, still got the scar actually somewhere down here from it. So
wrestling's fake. Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the people who end up in wheelchairs if it's fake.
Yes, I'm sure those people would completely agree with you. They're just pretending to not be able to walk.
Yeah.
I had that today actually at my uncle's birthday. My cousin goes, "Is it real?" I'm like, "Yes, it is. It hurts a lot." But then again, that's a conversation for another time. That is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jason King, thank you for your question, sir. That's a very good one actually. I like that one. Now Adam Cox, he had a very good question for you as well, because recently you wrestled for a certain promotion known as Global Force Wrestling when they appeared in Exeter. And Adam asks, how did you get yourself sort of onto that Global Force show? Was it like, did you approach Jeff? Did he approach you? I guess. How did that one come about?
It wasn't Jeff running the UK tour. It was somebody else in this side of the country running it, and I contacted him about getting on, like how I was trained by Joel, and would you have any way of putting me on the show? And so it just proves if you do just email people, sometimes it does work.
All right, so it's like, because I remember Yeah, because we all showed up for that one. I mean, we watched that. That's a brilliant match against Pepper Parks, who just got signed by TNA.
Yeah, his wife did as well. So
Yeah, Cherry Bomb. Yeah, that was Helium Girl. That was it. You know what the funny thing was? They were at their merchandise stall after the show when we were all walking back. He was like, "Did you enjoy the show?" I was like, "Yeah, it's a phenomenal show." I was like, "But how could you?" As I just went to Cherry, I was like, "How could you slap Josh in his hometown?" I was like, "What's up with that?" And she just went, "Well, you know, it had to be done." I was like,
Yeah, I think Pepper Parks is definitely going to be up there in a couple of years. I can see it. Yeah, he's already won out for the CCW tag champ. So
yeah, I mean, I think anybody who's wrestled on like Global Force, that's quite a big. I mean, that's why I think Adam Ass is is a big deal.
Yeah,
because
hopefully Global Force is going to be like one of the competitors for WWE in a few years, but obviously we don't know what's going to happen. So I'm hoping that would be something I can be proud of. I am proud of it. It's just I don't know how far they're going to go.
That's true. Now I would put money on it actually, on them sort of like emerging, because I think TNA it's hanging on by its fingernails now, or at least it seems to be. I think you got Global Force and Ring of Honor are two companies that I think could actually step the game up a bit, particularly if the WWE makes any mistakes, mistakes. I say mistakes. I just mean go down a direction that the fans aren't happy with. I reckon you never know. Global Force or Ring of Honor might well get this. So yeah, keep an eye on that.
I think that's why they've created NXT, though. I think that's for the fans that they didn't feel was going in the right direction. They would go, okay, watch this instead.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're not wrong there. But how was that though? Like being behind the scenes, did you get a chance to talk to the Double J, for instance? That must have been a bit of a surreal experience.
For a few minutes, yeah, just speaking about where he was staying that night and stuff, and how he's found in this country. Yeah, it's quite surreal.
Yeah, because you had some big guys back there, didn't you? You had, I'm trying to think of who it was now on the show. Mine's gone blank on me.
Sanjay Dutt was back there.
Yes.
Jeff and Karen was there. Joel, obviously.
Magnus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been quite a cool experience to get to share a locker room with those guys. And
yeah, it was the most out of place I've ever felt at a wrestling show.
I can bet that sounds a bit like me when I went to CPW for the first time, and then you've got guys just all around you, like huge guys like Chris Andrews, the UK Dominator, Joel Redman, and I'm just like, at this point I haven't done anything. I'm just a fan who's just gotten lucky and is building a ring. I was like, I really shouldn't be here at that point. So that's interesting, though, because you've been wrestling for quite some time now, and you still get that kind of feeling, do you?
Yeah, I've been doing it for 7 years now, and I don't feel like I have any, I still have a long way to go, that's how I feel.
All right, so you still don't feel like you truly belong? You must, come on, you must start to get a bit.
No, I think obviously I have goals, and I'm 21 now, so I wouldn't say time's getting on, but it's sort of like I was 14 once. I wish I took that time to make the most of what I had at the time.
I know what you mean. What was I doing at 14? I was just school, really. 14, I wasn't doing anything, really. I was just school and video games.
Yeah.
But that's quite we do have one more fan question for you. I was almost forgetting him for a second there, and how could I? Because he is the referee, John Aubrey, who I announced as Harding on the show, but it's okay. We'll gloss over that one. Wow, what happened there? Have you just gone slow motion? Have you dropped? Okay, still with us? Yeah, you completely went sort of slow motion there. I don't know quite what happened. I was worried I'd lost you for a second. Yeah, no, he asked. I think, yeah, it's working now.
Okay, cool.
Heart sank from it. There's like, oh no, not connection problems.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that can happen though. We were doing one show once and my computer turned off in the middle of the show. I was like, oh God. But, yeah, no, before anything does happen, John Aubrey asks, have you ever considered going international? Sort of like spreading across to maybe America or like Japan, or for instance?
I've definitely considered it. It's getting there. It's the problem. It's I don't know why, but I've never really been interested in going to Japan. I've always been more American focused. I don't know why.
I think sometimes it's just I don't really know how to explain. It's probably like what you've watched most of the time, because
I haven't really watched much New Japan really, because everyone goes on about like Kenny Omega and even like AJ Styles when he was there. I didn't watch much of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm actually the same way. I've only like seen YouTube clips of it, of like certain things that people have said, oh, you need to see this, big time, seriously, watch it. And I'm like, okay, I'll watch it.
I think my first experience like that I can like recently watching Japanese wrestling was like a few years ago. I saw Kenny Omega wrestling like an 8-year-old girl.
You know who you're on about, yeah.
Yeah, that was my first experience of like recent Japanese wrestling. But luckily, I looked more into it, and it was just a one-off. It wasn't something that they do every week. Luckily.
No, that's what I was thinking. Like when I first saw that match, I was like, an 8-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Didn't he wrestle Dogg as well once as well?
Oh God! Oh yeah, wasn't it Japan that did the forced choke slam as well, and the infamous Joey Ryan Willy flip? Let's call it that.
Yeah, I think that was Japan as well.
Yes, it was. Some weird stuff comes out of Japanese wrestling, and yet you then get guys like Kenta and Shinsuke Nakamura, and it's like, wow. I think it's a bit of a minefield. I think you've got to be careful where you tread.
Yeah.
Really. But that's the interesting thing there. It's like, yeah, no, I know what you mean. I think I think we can identify with the American product more, because I think we're more exposed to it.
I wouldn't say the Japanese wrestling is bad. I would say that, you know, obviously in the future, if I was offered, I'll take it within a second. But America's been the goal for me. Like, everyone should really aim to be in WWE, because you can't get any higher than that, in my opinion, anyway.
I'd be surprised if there are many people out there who disagree with that opinion, is how I'd say that.
And at the moment, WWE is starting to take over everywhere else. So it wouldn't surprise me in 20, 30 years' time if they were the only company running the whole world.
For the sake of Southwest Wrestling, because I think it's brilliant, I hope that's not the case.
Well, they've just announced NXT Plymouth, so...
True. Oh, that was I was surprised. Yeah, when I saw that, there's something came straight to my mind, which in fairness I really can't talk about on the podcast. But I was like, that couldn't have happened at a weirder time, considering a few things that have happened down here in the Southwest lately.
On my birthday as well. It's on my birthday, the Plymouth show.
That's a birthday present for you, then.
I think so. Yeah. You know, if Vince McMahon's watching, wants to put me on the show for my birthday, I'll be more than happy to. You know,
why not? Hell, I could come onto the show and do a live edition of the podcast, like actually in the show. Vince, you got to hook us up, mate. You got to hook us up. Why did I say mate? I don't know you. Vince, you hook us up. I swear to you, if you have the professional Josh Knott wrestling and me interviewing, I don't know, let's say I interview Sami Zayn, I could get that guy over big time.
Yeah, I think this tour they've just announced, I think they're trying to go to places that the main WWE tour doesn't. You see they've chosen like Bournemouth, and they're not going to London, which I'm surprised about.
Yes, but then again, the main roster's over here in May. No, sorry, it is. It's this month, actually. The main roster's over here this month, and they're doing London for Raw and SmackDown. They're doing... Yeah, I think it's like this NXT tour started doing the areas that the main roster doesn't do.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, I'm getting messages from people on Facebook to talk in the middle of a show. It's okay, I'm going to... Oh, God. No, I can't Skype. Not now. Not now. Okay. That's actually carried us right over to halfway. But I'm trying to think of like some of the questions I used to ask, actually, because I didn't write them down. So there's a load of good questions that came up. But I suppose just take us over the half now. One of the questions that I like to ask is like, how did you actually get started in professional wrestling? Because that's always a good story to tell.
I started before that, before there was any schools down here, I was going to go to Portsmouth every weekend and train at the FWA Academy, which would have been quite a while to drive. Luckily, Joel started at the school in Exeter because he was going to he was from the FWA Academy, and luckily he started at the school in Exeter. So, and I opened the paper one day and it just happened to be there, and I cut it out and ran to my mum and asked her and begged her to pay for it for me, which luckily she did. And I was training from 2009 to 2012, and then Joel got signed to NXT, and training sort of died off a bit then, unfortunately. But it's DWA's obviously reopened now, so it's starting to pick up again.
Yeah, I was going to ask about DWA because I've seen pictures like of the full cast there now. I spoke to Don about it because Don came on the first week it reopened, and like, are you helping out with the training down there nowadays? Because I've seen pictures of you there.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider myself a trainer there. More like somebody with a bit of experience that can help out. I don't like calling myself a trainer because I don't feel like I'm at the level to be a trainer.
Okay, so sort of like an assistant coach almost, like or mentor, I guess, is because that's different. It's a different role, but similar.
Yeah, we had training today, and everyone there doing really well. They're really progressing. There's some people there that are going to be good. Give it a year or two, I think. I think the Southwest scene's going to have a few more stars in it.
Yes, as well, because that's one of the things that I didn't actually do a rundown of that show because I wasn't expecting to be able to do a show, and I didn't have enough time to actually arrange a guest for last week. But then again, we're at LEP7. I was going to talk about LEP7, but then I was going to be at PWA, and then I wasn't, so I didn't have time to do a show in the end. But also LEP, like, they had 4 guys debut on that show in LEP7, and it's the Firm, Jago, and the Mad Dog, Vincent Andrews. You had TC Harris. In fact, Mad Dog Andrews was on your team in a 6-man tag, now that I think about it.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And one of the other debutants, TC Harris, was against you. And then answering Adira's open challenge, flying all the way from Moscow, Russia, Dmitry Ivanov made his debut. And
a very long way to come for an open challenge.
Well, I heard his flight got paid for by LP management.
Okay.
So lucky boy is all I'm going to say there. It's like I think they imported him to face Adira because everybody else got scared, but obviously because he didn't know Adira because he's Russian, he went into that match a bit blind and got a bit surprised. I think. I think he expected an English girl. You say, "Oh, this will be easy." Oh, okay, I'll come over, and of course he got himself speared out of his boots. But you see stuff like that happening, like DWA with the school, LEP and the talent. It's definitely a certain pool of talent that's collecting now in the Southwest. I think.
Yeah. Even down in Cornwall, CPW, I know they got a school. I've seen a few of them. A couple of them are standing out at the moment as well.
Yeah, it's very cool to see that. It's really starting to take off, and I think you can expect to see the Southwest sort of really gain traction soon. Like, well, it already is, I think. Yeah. But I think this is just the start of something even bigger.
Yeah. Well, I know some of the plans that DWA have got, and it's definitely going to get bigger. Believe me.
Yeah, I've also heard a little bit from Dom about some of those plans, and yeah, huge.
Yeah, I can't say much, obviously, for the sake of surprise, but
we don't want to say no. You don't want to ruin it.
No.
Same with LEP. Like we've been getting pep talks from the head trainer Danny Walsh. Big plans for that company as well, I think. Looking to step up. It's a fun time to be us. I think it's the best way to put it.
Yeah. Also PWA. They got the big anniversary show next week. No, 2 weeks time. 2 weeks time with Drew McIntyre on it. Drew Galloway. And so see what comes out of that one. And CPW got their big show coming up with. They come in a 4-way with Jason King.
Oh no.
So.
Yes, Marty Skrull as well for that show.
Yeah.
I just remember the last time I saw Marty Skrull, he was wrestling again. It was Wrestling Sons Rita on Global Force. I was one of the vocal members of that crowd in that match, and he just went and pointed over to me and said, "This one's for you, you stupid idiot," and then ran into a boot from Sanjay. So I don't know if he'll be very happy to see me, because I think I distracted him a bit.
Yeah, I think Marty's definitely about to reach. Somebody's going to sign him. I think he's already wrestling for PWG. So
consider this as well. He's also been announced as being part of the 32-man cruiserweight tournament.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's WWE's relaunch of the cruiserweight division. But
yeah,
holy hell!
He's in Texas right now. Actually, he wrestled in Texas today and yesterday. Defended the Progress title.
Ooh.
So people obviously know who he is. So.
Oh, that is cool though. I think the talent that this country is producing is just increasing ever higher. And that's for sure. I suppose that before we start talking about WWE like full time, one last question from me to you is: what's your favorite part about being a wrestler and being a professional wrestler and doing all this stuff? Because this is always a nice question to ask as well.
Probably the fact that it's one of very few things where you never thought you could do it, but you ended up being able to. Like if you wanted to play for Manchester United, there's always lower league football, and there's always they work their way up quite easily. Whereas wrestling it doesn't get any. You don't hit the mat any softer. It doesn't matter what show you're on. You're always going to be putting your body on the line. So I think the fact that you're doing something that a lot of other people want to do, this makes it a bit special.
I know what you mean as well. It's like, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you wrestle, either. It's like the skills required to do it are the same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could literally, like, it's like it doesn't really matter who you're facing either. The skills that you need are going to be the same. It's like whether you get body slammed by, say, the Kane or the Big Show, or Big Grizzly down at PWP, or Rey Mysterio, it's still the same move. It's still a body slam.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if it's in front of like 40 people in a social club or 2,000 in an arena. You still got to put the same effort in.
Well, so that's the thing. It's Dom said it as well, and it sums it up beautifully. You're not wrestling for yourself. You're wrestling for the benefit of the fans that are there in the attendance that evening. Especially
this day and age, because obviously the money's so tight, and the fact that people want to spend money on professional wrestling is, you've got to give them their money's worth, especially these days.
Yeah, it's humbling. It really is. Well, not that I can't say I've experienced it, but I think it's particularly when you're there. And I've helped build rings and all that, and then I've seen people come in to the show to watch it and sat among them, and seen the look on their faces. It's like, and even if you're just building a ring and getting that experience, you're still part of the show in a small way. And of course, I had the CPW trainee run-in. Actually, I have experienced it. Now that I think about it, because I took part in the trainee run-in when John Overy needed a bit of help.
Walsh Brothers.
Yes, that was it. The Walsh Brothers, had a bit of a ding-dong after their match. Didn't want to stop, and we all had to jump in and help out.
Yeah.
So I have experienced it. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's incredible. Anyway, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. But now it's the WrestleMania edition show.
Mm-hmm.
But before we talk about that, before we talk about the big one, no, we're not talking about that one yet, because before we had the big one, we had NXT Takeover Dallas. Now, we have both seen this show. My thoughts are that it was good. I liked it a lot. And I think you did.
I thought it was one of their better ones, but probably not as good as Brooklyn.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. Anyway, so here's what happened. Now, because I have a memory which works in mysterious ways, I've written this match card down in completely the wrong order. So you're going to have to forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, for this. Now, I'm going to try and reschedule this. Now,
I know it's a tag title match first. I remember that.
I remember that one. And that one was quite good, actually, because that was the Revival defending the Tag Team Championships against American Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a good match. The only thing I noticed was there seemed to be a moment where I think it was Dawson sort of just overshot Chad Gable in a double team attempt. Other than that, wow, I thought that was a quality match. And in the end, American Alpha picked up the victory over the Revival.
Definitely worthy tag champions, I think. It proved as well that you can have an amazing match on a big stage without having to do a million flips in the match.
Yeah, that's something that I think is coming back now as well to the big leagues. Well, is it? Oh, I suppose I say that. Well, but then again, you're signing guys like. But actually, no. Now I think about it, Takeover Dallas is a pretty good example of that, because then it was the debut of A-Double, the greatest man that ever lived, Austin Aries, against Baron Corbin. Mm-hmm. And this is another match that, again, proved you don't need a super stuntman degree to wrestle in front of a big crowd, because there weren't that many flips and tricks in this one. This was, again, a pretty straightforward side down, beat down affair, which in the end saw a roll-up victory for the greatest man that ever lived, Austin Aries.
Yeah, good little match. The fact that it ended in the roll-up as well, you know, I think they're saving the big stuff for the future. I think they've got big plans for him.
I wouldn't be surprised. I remember as well when TNA first put the championship on Austin Aries. CM Punk, still employed by the WWE at the time, just went, they are smart to do that. He's got bright things ahead of him. And at this point, I think you can call CM Punk Nostradamus, in fairness. Well, maybe. And then I think this was the match I think I was most intrigued to see. I think when I looked at the full card, I was like, this is the match I wanted to watch, because it was the heart and soul of NXT, Sami Zayn versus the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura. And we talked a little bit about this match before the show actually went on air. I remember thinking it was a good match, because I thought here you have like two of probably the best in ring talents they have at the moment. And of course, in the end, the strong style knee, or I can't remember what they actually call it now in WWE. I always remember it being called the strong style knee. Shinsuke Nakamura picked up the victory over Sami Zayn, which I think might well be Zayn's send-off.
Yeah, I think considering he's at WrestleMania and full-time on Raw now, I think that'll be it for him.
What a way to go out, though. I think, well, the hashtag Fight Forever, I think that pretty much says it all.
Yeah.
But it is like you said, actually, before the show, it was quite a standard Shinsuke match. In fact, a lot of his biggest moves didn't come out in that one. It was a very neat, it was a knee-based attack, I think you could call it.
Yeah, I think that's the style he's going to go for in NXT, is that they don't have many. They want a replacement for Daniel Bryan. With Daniel Bryan's kicks, I think Shinsuke's knees are sort of the replacement for it.
Yeah, actually, I can see that. Although, I'm wondering where that leaves Hideo Itami, because at the moment he's injured. But my God, Hideo Itami, Kenta, known for his kicks.
Mm-hmm. I think that'll be a feud in the future. Definitely them two.
I hope so. I must admit, I've seen. I mean, NXT hasn't allowed Itami to show off his kicks at all, because I've seen some stuff on YouTube from his days as Kenta in Japan, and there's this one match. It's a tag match, I think, against Eddie Edwards, and holy Jesus, how. You'd assume in Eddie Edwards' entire ribcage must have been broken after this kick combo. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be on the end of one of his kicks. I'll tell you that.
No, thank you. You know what? If hopefully I could negotiate a deal where the stipulation is he wrestles in a body bag from the waist down, so he can't kick me. That's the stipulation I want in my match against Hideo Itami. That's a good idea.
A little side note as well is that I think I was quite disappointed because I didn't think Shinsuke would have his Japanese theme that he used, but I think his new theme is actually better than his old one. I've been. I always get that when a guy debuts from, say, the Indies or Japan, is like, what theme is it going to be? Because like, obviously I know Shinsuke's theme like really well. The one I really knew was AJ Styles from the Indies. Obviously Demigods from Ring of Honor. Yeah.
And of course I was like, is this obviously going to be the end of Demigods? They're obviously not going to be using that. And of course, so what are they going to be using? And then, of course, Royal Rumble, it plays out orchestral music. I was like, don't tell me they're bringing back Reverend Devon. And then, of course, it cuts to AJ Styles. I was like, oh! And then it twigged in my head what they're going for, something quite sort of orchestral. It sort of has a very similar feel to it, to the backing track of Demigods, and then it's a rap, basically, which is what Demigods was. I was like, I'm starting to see why I actually think that song works now.
I think it's more money as well. They don't really want to pay out the money for buying the rights to the theme song, so they got their own music company, so basically. Yeah,
they do. It's they don't even get that many. They don't even get that many cover. Well, there's CFO $sign now, isn't it? And again, they don't even seem to get that many cover groups in to cover songs. Like I remember with DX, it was Jim Johnston's song performed by Rage Against the Machine. You don't get much like that anymore these days, I noticed.
No.
I don't know if I miss it or not. I think I do. That's why I think, guys. I think that's why CM Punk's Cult of Personality was really popular when he first used it, because it's like CM Punk has forced them to pay the rights for that song. It's like, but then again, Bray Wyatt uses an imported track that wasn't made by the WWE at all. That was all somebody else's work.
Yeah.
But I can't remember if it was a royalty. Actually, no. Bray told a story of that. He was searching royalty-free music and came across it. So I guess he got off light. But anyway, back to NXT Takeover Dallas. You then had the Empress of Tomorrow, as they're now calling her, Asuka, somebody else I do not want to get kicked by, defeating Bayley when Bayley, passed out in the Asuka lock.
Yeah, I think this. I have a feeling this could be the end of Bayley's NXT run as well. I've had a lot of people disagreeing with me.
You know what? I don't disagree either. I would agree with you. I mean, because the way I see it going is they will debut her next Monday, tomorrow, on Raw, or maybe even at Mania, has some sort of bearing on the title match, maybe. And then she might come back for another match with Asuka, a rematch, at the next Takeover show, like Sasha Banks did when she debuted, because obviously she was working both for like a month or two.
Yeah, same as Sami Zayn's been ready.
Yes, yeah, very much so. That is, if I were to put money on anything, that's what I'd put money on. Which leaves us with our main event, a rematch from NXT TakeOver London, which I saw live. Yes, vlog online, by the way. You can search that up, NXT TakeOver London live vlog. I'm there, recorded all the entrances, did some Steve Corino style commentating on Super Kicks. Yes, this was Finn Balor, the Demon Finn Balor, defeated Samoa Joe to retain the NXT Championship, which... now, this match did not go how I thought it was going to go.
No. What was the chainsaw about first? I didn't get it.
Takeover Dallas is Texas. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, I just thought he stole Dean Ambrose's bag and just found it.
Yeah, no, that would have been quite funny, actually. Can you imagine if he was like crawling out to the ring, doing his thing, like dragging that cart that Dean Ambrose had from Raw, and then he just picked up the chainsaw and started going, yeah. That would have been quite funny. But you see, the thing is, the reason why it was lost, I got it. I was confused for a second. I was like, what is he doing? Why is there a chainsaw? And then I realized, oh yeah, Texas. It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. When he's customizing his entrance. But you know why it didn't work? It's because he didn't do the whole thing overhead, which is I think the iconic thing from the movie.
Yeah.
But this match didn't go how I thought it would, because, well, for one thing, they kept stopping it to clear up the blood, which I think is a bit hypocritical, considering the fact that they've been showing blood on Raw lately with the Roman Reigns beatdown and stuff like that. I thought, well, surely you can just let this one go as a result. But no. Got a big fuck PG chant going. Yeah, I actually, I don't know if I was expecting some sort of appearance on the Bullet Club or something. I don't think I expected Finn to win clean this time.
No, I didn't think Finn was going to win at all, to be honest. I thought Joe was going to win.
Yeah, there's that as well. I was like...
I've heard a lot of rumours about Finn debuting next Monday with the Bullet Club, so...
Yeah. See, that's what I was hearing as well. I was like, I wasn't... this sort of result caught me by surprise, and it felt like in fairness, it just felt like a not as good version of what they did at London.
No. It probably leads me to believe that Joe's probably going to debut on Monday instead.
Could be. I just remember thinking, I liked the pay-per-view like from top to bottom. I didn't even dislike this match. I was just left a bit, at the end of it. Actually, but then again, Takeover Dallas was a good show, and I have seen comments from a lot of wrestlers online saying now WrestleMania's got something to follow big time.
Yeah.
Which leads us to now, this is the first time I've actually done a smooth segue all show, quite nicely, to WrestleMania 32. Which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, because I am not a rank amateur, I have gone and got the full match card for you right here. So, do you want to? Shall we start with the?
It actually starts in an hour. I can't believe the show starts in an hour. The pre-show.
Yeah, the pre-show. Yes, it is, because then it's because then the actual main show starts at midnight, which reminds me. It is an hour, and I'm going to be joining the Marcus and a couple of mates. I don't know if we're live streaming our reactions to it or not, but. I'm just going to put it out there. Keep an eye out for Marcus Osborne and WrestleMania 32 live stream, because that might be happening. So just in case, there you go. So you got the pre-show, which is quite a big pre-show. Normally there's only one match for a normal pay-per-view.
That pre-show is probably better than an episode of SmackDown.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. We have the Divas tag team match is the first match listed here, so I'm just going to do it in order from top to bottom, from bottom to top, I should say. It's Brie Bella, the team of Total Divas, Brie Bella, Natalya, Alicia Fox, Paige, and of course, let's all hang our heads, Eva Marie, versus Team Bad, Lana, Emma, and Summer Rae.
Basically, how many divas can you fit on WrestleMania before they change it back to the women's division?
Yes, this is basically a get as many people on the payroll show match. As for who's going to win it, I haven't really thought about it until now because I honestly don't care. So I
probably Team Total Divas to promote the TV show.
Yeah, Paige will pick up the win, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Yeah, Paige is going to win. Yay! I suppose you're a bit like me, though. You really do. This is just a moment to just look at women wearing not much, basically.
You want to be interested in the match, but you know it's only going to go about 30 seconds, so...
Yeah, it's just going to be all the divas run in, hit their finishers, and then last one standing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, in fairness, I think this is going to be... Yeah, well... I'm going to watch the match, obviously, but attentively, but I'm not all that. This isn't the match I'm hyped for, basically. Because then it's followed by... Well, on this website, it's followed by the United States Championship match, which is Kalisto defending his championship against the big guy, Ryback. Or can we call him Ryberg now, since he is literally got the exact same look as Goldberg now.
With Rob Van Dam's gear?
No, he's got rid of it.
Has he?
Yep, he's now wearing black. He's now wearing black trunks.
There's how much I know about Ryback these days.
It's literally Goldberg now.
I wouldn't put these two together. I don't. When you think of like a dream card, you wouldn't put these two together, especially for Kalisto. And he needs an opponent that's the same ability as him, like agility-wise and stuff. If he needs to have a good match.
Yeah, that's one thing I've thought, and the whole story has just been Ryback boasting that bigger is better. That's the feud.
I thought they're supposed to be PG.
Yeah, it's supposed to be PG, but no, obviously Ryback didn't get the memo.
No.
So yeah, no, that's I don't feel all that. I don't feel like this one's that much mystery. I think Kalisto's going to defend.
I would hope so. I would think so. So I was waiting for a Kalisto and Sin Cara feud, but obviously that's not going to happen.
Yeah, they're just sort of doing their own separate thing, but still friends. A bit like Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be Kalisto. I don't see a title changing hands on the pre-show. So, yeah. And then, because 2 matches isn't enough, you've got 3 on the pre-show. It's going to be the Usos versus the guys that don't use tables anymore, the Dudley Boys.
The Dudley's not using tables like Kane not using fire. It just doesn't work.
Or it's basically John Cena that doesn't pander to kids. I'm gonna say the Dudleys.
To be honest, I don't know why they didn't just make it a 6-man, just combine the 2 matches on the pre-show, just make it the Usos and Kalisto against the Dudleys and Ryback.
You know, that might have made good sense.
Yeah. Although I suppose they didn't want to have just 2 tag matches on the pre-show.
Well, it's a 2-hour-long pre-show, so I guess they kind of needed more matches to help pad the runtime, I guess.
Yeah. Put an NXT match on there. I don't know why they didn't put an NXT match on the pre-show.
Yeah, that surprised me, actually. I thought this would be a pretty good time for, since they're not doing anything at Dallas, maybe Enzo and Cass to come out there, do their thing. Because I reckon they'd be over big time. Like, really quite...
We saw it on Roadblock, the network special. They were over with the main crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this would have been a very good time to do it. And by the way, I want to just say, whilst we're doing all these WrestleMania predictions, if you have any predictions of your own, you can email those to me at glennchum14@gmail.com. Have your say, and I'll read out what you have to say on the show and see if me and Josh agree with it. So if you do want to have your say on this, that's where you do it. glennchum14@gmail.com. And I am flicking over to the email just in case anybody sent anything in. And I am flicking over to the YouTube stream as well, just to see if any comments are popping up. Because I've often like ended the stream and seen a load of emails and comments. So I am watching. Anyway, that was the kickoff show, and now we have the big 4-hour extravaganza itself. WrestleMania 32. Wait, no, it's not WrestleMania 32 because they don't do the numbers anymore. Did you hear about this?
Saying about 30 times in this podcast.
Yeah, have you heard about this though? Vince McMahon has said he doesn't want the number of the show put in the title of it anymore, on the graphic, I should say, because he doesn't want people to start thinking it's getting old.
I can kind of see what he means, but does it really matter with the Super Bowl? They're on like 51 now.
Yeah.
Nobody said anything like that about it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is just Vince McMahon getting a bit Vincey.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that's just an interesting anecdote. Anyway, we have first match listed on this is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which was on the pre-show last year, but this year it's on the main show. Now, the participants listed here are Heath Slater. He's not going to win it. Curtis Axel. Seriously doubt it. Adam Rose. I'm not going to add any more comments. Adam Rose, Bo Dallas, Big Show, Kane, Tyler Breeze, Mark Henry, Jack Swagger, Fandango, Damian Sandow, Darren Young, Connor and Victor, Goldust, R-Truth, and 4 guys that haven't been announced yet.
Have you heard why they've moved? Because this was originally going to be on the pre-show, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I haven't heard why it wasn't.
I heard it's because they're going to make Cena return and win this.
Now, I have also seen a report that says he's cleared to wrestle.
Yeah, and as soon as I saw that report, I saw that they moved this match to the main show.
Yeah, it's funny coincidence that.
Yeah.
But
I'm hoping Titus O'Neil returns and wins it, but that's not going to happen.
No, because he's still suspended, isn't he?
Yeah.
Why are all these emails? I'm just getting 1,000,001 messages popping up now. People, you know what? I might mute that in a minute. It's getting very distracting. But you know what? I'm gonna stick my neck out, and I am going to put my money, all my summer wages, on Tyler Breeze.
I've heard a few people say that.
Oh, really? I thought I'm trying to be a bit silly with my answer there.
No, I've heard a few people say Tyler Breeze, but
yeah, you know what? I'd kind of like to see them push Tyler Breeze. I feel like they've just killed him off before he's even had a chance. I know I'm not the only one who thinks that, but apparently they've already given up on him because he wasn't getting a response.
Because they didn't give him a chance.
Yeah. It's like, well, you put him in a crap angle with Dolph Ziggler and Lana for a month and expect him to get popular?
Yeah.
Go figure.
I think that's why a lot of NXT people apparently are declining moving to the main roster.
You know what? Yeah, I know Finn Balor and Bayley are all saying, like, we don't really want to go. We're quite happy down here. It's not hardly a surprise, is it, really?
No.
Then again, you have guys like Kevin Owens who are doing all right for themselves. It's a tough one. Tough to say. Well, there you go. So we've got predictions for John Cena and Tyler Breeze. Yeah. Which one's more likely? That's ironically, none of the ones they're promoting as favourites are picked by us. Then the next match we have announced is a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. It's Kevin Owens defending it against The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn, Zack Ryder, Sin Cara, and Stardust. Tough one to call that, because again, it's a bit of a lottery, really, isn't it? It's like, how do you pick?
Yeah, if I got to book it, it'd probably be Sami Zayn, just because that starts the feud between him and Owens really going off then.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Sami Zayn myself to win it. But then again, there's so many guys there. I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't Sami Zayn. But then again, he's the one who I would pick. So, well, we're both in agreement there. Either way, I think that match is the match that's most likely to produce the most WrestleMania moments.
I think we're going to see a repeat of the Ring of Honor ladder spot with Kevin Owens not package pile driving, but maybe doing something through a ladder. I
hope so. Because obviously the pile driver itself is banned, except for The Undertaker. So,
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd certainly think that match has got the potential to be a contender for show stealer. Then you have the handicap tag team match which I thought was for the Tag Team Championships, but it's not being listed here as for the title. It's the New Day versus the League of Booty. That's Nations.
I'm not really sure on this one, because I know that I don't see why they would try and build the League of Nations up, considering Barrett's leaving in June anyway.
Yeah. Well, again, I've heard that. I think it would certainly be crowd pleasing for the New Day to go out to win this one, I'd say.
And I've also heard that, because I've got a few people, like some of my best friends are in Texas at the moment. I've heard that they're planning one of the greatest entrances in WrestleMania history, the New Day.
I've heard that.
It could involve unicorns and
flying in on them.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard.
And 100 people playing trombones.
Yeah, that I haven't heard. I've heard about flying unicorns as a rumor. Yeah, I certainly think I would pick the New Day for this one. I just think it'd be a feel-good moment to have that happen, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right, and then you have your...
Being a professional, I really need to go to the toilet.
You go ahead, sir.
I'll be 2 seconds.
Well, I can handle this one. This is a triple threat match for the Divas Championship, which is Charlotte defending against Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. I think Sasha Banks. I'm going to say Sasha Banks because I just think of everybody going into this match, she's got the most potential, because I think she's the best wrestler they have in the Divas division at the moment, soon to be called the Women's division again, and I hope to hell that happens. And yeah, I would really like to see Sasha Banks win it. I think she's just the most popular and the most skilled they have. So that's who I'm going with. We're not going to find out who Josh is going to pick, though, because he's a professional who is going to the toilet. And plus, we're getting on a little bit in time, so I don't want to keep you too long, because I want you all guys to get together for your WrestleMania night. Because I'm aware that we're going on a bit too long. Yeah, so just to recap, I'm picking Sasha Banks. I'll ask Josh if he agrees when he comes back. But so your next match is should we just call it the grudge match? It's Y2J Chris Jericho versus the phenomenal versus the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Just a Divas match. Sasha Banks, my prediction.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you agree? I agree. I said I think she's their best wrestler and probably the most popular diva they've got at the moment.
Yeah. You can see they've built her up from Royal Rumble to be that next top woman. So
yeah, and well, you know that Snoop Dogg's going into the Hall of Fame as well.
Yeah,
and the fact that Snoop Dogg and Sasha are cousins in real life, I could almost see Snoop Dogg coming down and taking out the Flair factor.
Apparently Snoop Dogg is going to be performing Sasha's entrance.
Is he?
Yeah.
Now, that might work. Push them all out the way, Izzle. Yeah, that works.
Apparently she's going to have the same entrance that she had at Takeover Brooklyn as well, with the big car and the security guards and everything, which I think would be really cool.
Yeah, certainly. I think I think out of everybody in the Divas division, like Sasha's probably heading it at the moment, even if she doesn't have the championship. So yeah, I was about to give my prediction for Christopher Jericho versus AJ Styles. And I'm going with Mr. Phenomenal.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't think Jericho winning at WrestleMania would do anything for him, especially at this point in his career. They need to build him up.
That's basically the way I see it as well. one, I think it'd be a crowd pleasing moment for everybody. Yeah. And two, it's just like AJ Styles will be served much better from winning this than Jericho, basically.
Plus, my personal feeling is that tomorrow on Raw they're going to start a AJ Styles Samoa Joe feud.
Oh, that's not a bad shout. Yeah, no, I could see that happening. They certainly went at it a lot in TNA. And WWE does seem to have a bit of a habit of revisiting indie rivalries.
Yeah.
Like they're doing with Zayn and Kevin Owens. Like, in fact, that's pretty much half of their time spent in WWE has been spent fighting each other.
Yeah.
I certainly agree. I don't think anybody's going to be much. Now, this one has another potential to produce one of the main montage WrestleMania moments of the night, because it's a no-holds-barred street fight with the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose, taking on the Beast Incarnate, the mayor of Suplex City, the man who is the one in 22 and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heyman's Beast, Brock Lesnar. I'm surprised I managed to say all those things.
You're going to realise what you just did wrong in that.
No, I don't think I am.
What did you say was the streak?
22. Yeah, but that's how Paul Heyman introduced it now. Because he's the one that defeated...
Oh, of course. Yeah, he wrestled that, yeah.
Technically, because he wrestled Bray Wyatt, it's 22 and 1.
Yeah, I was there, so I should have known.
Yeah, you watched it live! Yeah, that just shows you how forgettable that was. Oh, dear. That's kind of tragic, because...
it's been a long day.
Yeah, same here, actually. I've been awake since... 6 a.m. I've got almost a 24-hour day once I finish watching Mania. But yeah, Dean Ambrose versus all those nicknames Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. It's going to be quite interesting to see how far they push it for a PG event. Because we've seen what Lesnar can do with that hardcore sort of style. So
the one prediction that I do want to make is that I do not believe you're going to see Brock Lesnar getting sliced open with a chainsaw.
No, I don't think that would be good for the shareholders to see.
No, I don't think it'd be good for the WWE to have their main attraction, well, by Paul Heyman's own words, the so-called main event on every show he's on, getting decapitated by Dean Ambrose.
I think we could see a lot of barbed wire being hidden.
A lot of crowbars. Yeah. As for the eventual winner, it's genuinely, I'm a bit on the fence. But I would, I think I'm going to say Brock Lesnar.
I'm going to go Dean Ambrose because I think that hopefully they're lining Ambrose up for the next champion after whoever is champion after WrestleMania.
Yeah, there is that. Just sometimes you get those matches that don't really serve a purpose, a greater, higher power purpose. And I think of all the matches on the card, this is going to be that match. I think that's just the way I see it.
Can you see Paul Heyman turning on Lesnar and siding with Ambrose?
I can, yeah. Certainly something I wouldn't rule out. But I think sometimes you get those matches that don't really serve a greater purpose and are just greater accolades to be reeled off in a Hall of Fame speech or something like that. And I think Brock Lesnar winning this match is what is going to be that one. Particularly after he didn't beat Roman Reigns at last year's Mania. I think if he loses to Dean Ambrose, it would almost kill Brock Lesnar too much to the point where you could argue that perhaps you'd have a trouble selling tickets based on Brock Lesnar's name. So that's why I'm going. That's why I'm going with the Beast. And plus, I think Dean Ambrose is one of those guys who will just take a loss, but be able to turn it into something positive like that.
Yeah,
and get himself instantly loved.
Apparently, he was very, very drunk at the Hall of Fame last night.
I'm sure the WWE loves that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, so. Now I've heard these two matches got switched around, but on this card it's listed like this. It's the Hell in a Cell match. Shane McMahon fighting for his legacy and fighting for control of Raw against The Undertaker, who is fighting so that he can actually appear on WrestleMania 33 and wrestle Sting.
Even though Sting retired last night, didn't he?
Has he actually announced it? Because I heard
he announced it last night.
Didn't he? Because I heard he announced he denied those rumors and said no, he's still holding out for that match against The Undertaker.
He did say at the end of his speech, he said it's not goodbye, it's I'll see you later. So whether he's going to interfere...
There you go. He still wants that match against The Undertaker.
I heard this match was main event in the show, though.
I've heard it got moved to the main event, yes, because the WWE is predicting a pretty bad and poor reaction to the next match.
Yeah, well, I think the Hell in a Cell is going to feature
probably the biggest.
I think Shane McMahon's probably going to jump off something during the match, whether it's the arena or the entrance or the Hell in a Cell or something. He's going to jump off something.
He is, isn't he? I can see it happening. I think Shane McMahon's going to win as well.
Yeah.
The more I look at, the more I say look at it, but I just have a sneaking suspicion. I was thinking The Undertaker, but as my mind's changed to Shane. But I did see a funny meme online earlier. It's Shane talking to Godfather and Sting behind the scenes at the Hall of Fame ceremony before it happened, and it goes. So we have a deal then. If I jump off the WrestleMania sign and live, that's 2 free hoes for us. I was like, well, yeah, I think everybody's expecting him to jump off something which is really high up.
I'm expecting a couple surprises as well. Vince will probably be involved in the match. I think Vince is going to announce somewhere during the show that he's special referee.
Yeah, I can see that. I would also quite like to. I don't know why. I feel like I'm ready to see it as a fan more than anything. But a Bray Wyatt face turn where he comes in and costs The Undertaker the match. I can see maybe The Undertaker just beating down Shane and being about to put that final tombstone on, and then Bray Wyatt just appears in the ring, turns face, runs the whole anti-authority gimmick, sort of like he did when he left NXT, and then that sparks fresh interest in the Wyatt family. Because I think they've gone about as far as they can for now with the Wyatts as heels. I'd like to see a face turn, and I think this would be a good opportunity to do it. Yeah, that's the way I see it.
My story was going to be completely different to that, to what I thought was going to happen. So, for some reason, I have a feeling that we're going to see a Rock and Austin face off during the match. Because I think the Rock's going to come out to defend Vince because he's like the company man. And I think Austin's going to come out to defend Shane because he's always been against Vince.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's a bit out there, I know, but...
No. Perhaps not The Rock, but perhaps Shawn Michaels. If you're going to go down that line of school of thought, because Shawn Michaels is announced to be on the show, hasn't been said what he's doing, but if you think about it, if Shane wins, the Authority loses control of Raw, and Triple H is obviously best friends with Shawn Michaels in real life, and everybody knows that. So Shawn Michaels could come down, super kick the hell out of Shane McMahon to defend Triple H's position in Authority.
Yeah.
So that could happen.
Mm.
I think that's a better shout than The Rock doing it.
I just can't see where else The Rock's going to fit in during the show.
That's true. Then again, last year it was just a nice speech segment, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah. Unless he puts himself in the Battle Royal, I don't really.
Now that would be good.
Ruin Cena's life one more time.
Oh, sad Cena. Oh, that was a thing of beauty. Well, to fans of the Attitude Era, it was.
Mm.
Which leads us to, I think, the match I am most certain of the whole night. WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. Triple H versus Roman Reigns. I was just so not interested in this one. It's hurts me.
I really am, though, because I think they're going to put a huge twist that nobody ever thought of.
Okay, well, I'm just going to say I think this is going to be Roman Reigns' crowning moment, and I think, I'm just so certain Roman Reigns is going to be leaving WrestleMania with a championship that I've basically lost interest.
Mm. But they always want WrestleMania to leave on a high, and I don't.
But it's not the main event anymore.
Mm.
That's what also led me to think perhaps what I think is correct, because I think they're worried. I think they're worried, and they're right to be worried in my mind, that Roman Reigns will get booed to a living death after this match if he wins. And I don't think they want WrestleMania to go out on a crescendo of boos.
No.
And that's why they swapped.
The last two have gone out with the best ovations in years. Seth Rollins winning the belt and Daniel Bryan winning the belt.
Yeah. I just think this was supposed to be the year that Roman Reigns was going to have that, and they've got on cold feet based on crowd reaction to Reigns like the whole way through to the road to WrestleMania. I
just thought by now they might have realised that the fans don't want him as champion. Like, you can't force. You don't want another Cena. You don't want another forced champion on everyone.
But I don't think the WWE understands that. I think the WWE are just like, we'll do what we want to do. We're the biggest company anyway, so screw it.
Yeah.
To quote, if Marcus Osborne, my mate's watching this, he'll appreciate this quote. I think they'll just say, Roman Reigns is going to win, and you have to like it.
Guys, on a side note, apologize to Jason King, because he just put a post up saying about how in the first 10 seconds we ripped him on the podcast. So, sorry.
Yeah,
Jason.
but he spent his whole last appearance on this podcast ripping me. He did. He spent the whole podcast going, I'm going to have my agent turn down every approach from Mr. Chun. I hate this podcast. I hate Cornwall. So, Mr. King, you reap what you sow. I have no sympathy for that man. He's been the LEP champion for 213 million years. I refuse to feel sorry for a man like that. Jason? Yeah. You've been told.
I'd like to hear Jason King's predictions for WrestleMania, because he's probably thinking that he's going to win every match.
Yeah, that's who's going to win the Divas Championship? Jason King. Who's going to win the Andre Memorial Battle Royal? Well, that'd be Jason King, obviously. And do you know what? He is going to hold the Andre the Memorial Battle Royal for 365 days as Memorial Champion holder.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Just for the record, I do like Jason King. I can't not like him. He's just he just hates on the podcast on too much. And
he's the most charismatic person in the Southwest. I'll give him that.
Yeah, no, I'll give him that. I will. You know, he's just one of those guys. You know the expression "you love to hate."
Mm-hmm.
He's basically that. He is the Southwest Wrestling's version of the Joker, in that respect.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy, but you'll love him really. That's just yeah. Sorry, Jace. Sorry. But yeah, no, I think that's WrestleMania basically covered.
Don't forget Fifth Harmony.
Fifth Harmony?
The band.
Oh yeah. What are they? Please don't tell me they're in a match.
No, they're performing, but I think that'd be the highlight of the show.
A non-wrestling segment. Oh
yeah.
My god.
I also heard that so Snoop Dogg's performing. Somebody else was going to perform as Flow Rider. Apparently, he's performing as well.
Ah, okay. Yeah, maybe. I also want to say thank you to one of our viewers, Niall McCarthy. Thank you for watching. He has commented saying, "Great video."
Thank you,
Thanks, mate. Thank you. Yeah. Niall, Niall. That's cool. Thank you for your support on the podcast. It means everything. I hope you enjoyed the whole thing. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's a nice way to end it. Yeah, well, we've covered all of WrestleMania, live performances, everybody's appearing, which means for a nice 1.5 hours, that's a good length for a special episode, right? I think so.
Just like WrestleMania, it goes on way too long.
Yes. Yes. True. Wait, no. This show is an hour and a half. That's about an hour and a half too short. I think everybody wants to go for another hour and a half. But obviously, I want to watch WrestleMania, and I know you do too. Mm-hmm. Which means time for our closing, which is where we delve into the realms of Plug City, of which I am the mayor. Which means we do Facebooks and where we can find each other. So for me, you can find me on Facebook at Glenn_Chun, where I've been neglecting that page a little bit recently, but I'm hoping to reinvigorate the thing with vlogs, like quick vlogs about the show, about what's going on and stuff like that. You can also find me at Twitter, where it will post up automatic posts about every video. In case you miss it in your YouTube feed, you can find it in the Twitter feed, stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm on Twitter, also Glenn_Chun. And yeah, that's the ways in which you can find me on the internet. So Josh, where can they find out about all things Josh Knott, the professional?
I'm on Facebook as well, under Josh Knott. I'm on Instagram. I'm just trying to look because I can't remember what my Instagram name is.
I am on Instagram, but there's literally no point following me. It's just pictures of me topless with long hair curled around to make me look like Clark Kent.
I'm on Instagram and Josh Knott as well. Just saw. And don't forget to follow Jason Greaves also. Just a special shout out for him.
Ah, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where you can find us. It has been an immense pleasure to have you with us. And if you stuck through the whole hour and a half, you are a trooper and you have our eternal love. Yeah.
You deserve a medal for putting up with an hour and a half of me talking. I'll tell you that much.
And also really bad jokes from me. That's just ludicrous torture, that is. But yes, no, thank you for watching for the whole hour and a half. If you have major thank you. For now, thank you very, very, very much for watching. I hope to see you guys next week on the show, where, as per usual, I do not have a clue what I'm going to do yet, but I'm sure it's going to be awesome. And finally, everybody, enjoy WrestleMania!